were important to them for various reasons as I met with the planning committee for the job. You can see on that rendering it's a lot of pencil and a lot of pen. So my initial renderings look like that because that's real quick and easy for me to draw things out. But then if someone's paying me to do a more extensive colored rendering, it'll look like this. This is the one from the True Blue NAU job. So you can look at that video, and I'm not even supposed to have this rendering because it was in the contract that I would no longer own this after, and they would take it. So I need to get this back to them. Hope I don't get in trouble for this. But this is the initial rendering, so you can see some of the items are in that, if you watch that video, the True Blue NAU mural. I think the last one I posted was the one that says almost finished. But that banner's not in there, those basketball players are not in there. But you can see the technique here is watercolor. That's how I did that. I drew it in pencil, and then I filled it in with watercolors. And a watercolor brush is like, you know, the watercolor brushes are the one, if you go to Michael's or go to an art store, the synthetic bristles, you know, I think it might be like $10 for a brush, that kind of come to a point like a sign painting brush. Those are my favorite things to use for watercolor. The bristles are about a little longer than, maybe an inch long, and they kind of chisel to a point, and it's round. It's not like those flat brushes I use, just a round, pointed brush. Those work real good for the watercolor. I use those on all those renderings. Fill in the colors real fast, and then I go back with a black pen and just draw the important lines back in, and it defines those edges. It's a very fast method of doing renderings compared to trying to use the same materials you'll be using. People just need to see what you're going to do. They don't, you know, if they're hiring you, they like your previous work. They can use that as examples of what the actual finish will be, but they just need to see your idea in color. So I use watercolor and ink pen on top of my pencil sketch to get those done. Let's go to another, let's see, we've got Armand Marino. Your work is phenomenal. I've been watching for quite a long time. I appreciate that, Armand. I am also a muralist who finds your work to be the best I've ever seen. Keep up the great work. Yeah, we like Armand. Thanks, buddy. Now here's an interesting one. I like this one. I'm a freelance artist working in Memphis, Tennessee. I am trying to build a name for myself. In Memphis as a muralist and illustrator. While my ultimate goal is to become a professional sequential artist, I am also looking to take advantage of as many art opportunities as I can to make a living as an artist. That has me teaching art lessons, creating painting and illustrations, and painting murals. I am truly amazed at the things you create. This is a long one. You are a far better artist than I will ever be, and that keeps me humble. Yeah, you know, I hesitate to receive a compliment like that. You know, I don't know if that's the truth, but I do appreciate it. So thank you for that. You are a real inspiration for me. I am also very excited to see that you are a Christian and that you are creating all of these brilliant works of art for God's glory. I know that God has called me to be an artist as well, and He has been faithful and kind to keep sending me work for nearly 2 years now. I would love to glean any advice that you might have to give from your experience on how to generate more business. I am working to put together a website that deals specifically with my mural and painting work. But do you have any advice on other ways to generate work as a muralist? I hope you continue to create more great murals, and thanks for any advice you might be able to throw my way. I like when I get emails like this acknowledging that I'm a Christian. You know, yes, I hesitate to take any credit for being any kind of a good Christian, and I you know, don't know if I can agree that all of my artwork has been for God's glory, but I do take that as a compliment, and I do like that encouragement. I am, you know, I'm a big fan of Jesus. To be a Christian is a really broad term, and I don't know if I do a good job of being a Christian, but I am a very strong believer in everything that Jesus taught. But you didn't come here to hear me preach about that. But for anybody that wonders, a lot of these comments show up, and I do like to see those. So this guy says, thanks in Christ, Charlie Forrester. Now, to answer the advice, if you're a starting muralist, well, and this guy probably goes to church, social pipelines, church is a social pipeline. I mean, if you're going to a church, that's a lot of people that are going to be interested in what you do and what you have to offer. And that's what people do for each other. Why shouldn't you do it all the more in church? So make sure people know what you do, what you're doing, why you're doing it. Talk to people everywhere. Be a people person. I always try to say that. Anybody starting out, knowing people is so important. See, you want them when they get into a conversation, when someone says, oh yeah, I was thinking about doing a miracle, doing a mural, you want them to say, oh, this guy Mural Joe, I just heard about him. You want it to be the first words out of their mouth, not the fifth. They're not a thought that's, getting known's one thing, but becoming the thing that they last heard about. That's important. And that happens when you know a lot of people. So, if you're trying to start a business, get out, talk to people, and do not be ashamed to use the resources that you have, the friends who are close to you. When you can have a friend hire you and do something, just because it doesn't seem like a big professional job, hey, don't despise small beginnings, as the proverb says, I think. You need to take what you have and build that. And whatever community of people is already surrounding you, if you can't do good with that, how are you going to do good with a lot? So you want to know as many people as you can know, and just get the word out. Word of mouth has been the biggest thing for me. So if there are any kind of social groups, social networks, be a part of those physical social things. I mean, Facebook, YouTube, they're great for me, but knowing people in this town and talking to people every day helps so much. You wouldn't believe how many jobs come from unlikely sources just because some guy brought it up in a conversation. Hi Joe, I'm a painter also, and am beginning to translate my work with oil painting for 15 years into muraling. This is a translated message. Just saying I moved from oil to doing murals. The issues I'm facing are obvious: open time and expedience. I watched a few of your videos, and our painting quality is as similar as I've found. You work with rich colors, and so I'm reaching out to you for some advice if you're willing. I got Floetrol on your recommendation. I'm reading about glycerin extending, open time, Floetrol. I want opaque color. Mind sharing your ratios. This person is basically saying, having trouble with coverage and I'm trying to do color fades. Wants to know that. It says, thank you, Jess. So, Jess, I always do a base coat that is similar to my top coat first. If I'm trying to do something like a fade, a blue sky that goes from blue to white as it gets close to the horizon, I always do similar tones of gray or just a muted blue. Or if I'm doing a red wall, say you want to fade red to blue, then you'll do those colors but a lot more gray, because that'll cover real well and just get the darkness, get the brightness the same as what you're going to be putting over it. It'll cover that so much easier than another, so that you don't have to do multiple coats of your really nice fade. So you do a first one that's real messy, just general, and it's in more muted colors. Then you do a final one that's in your bright colors. And those extenders, don't worry about the ratios on the bottle. You could take Floetrol and just let it dry all by itself, and it'll dry to a hard finish and stick to a wall. Those ratios are, to be honest, I don't know why the ratios are exactly what they are. But I can tell you that I've used them way beyond what the bottle says. And if you're painting a mural, the demands for the performance of the material is not the same as when you're contracting, doing a big wall that's in broad sunlight. A lot of murals, especially if they're interior, then you don't need to worry about the sun beating up that mural. So lots of Floetrol. You can just dip your brush in the bucket of Floetrol, just like I did in that video common questions, and that it will be very valuable to you using that simultaneously, just like its own bucket of paint. Floetrol paint, so, and dip in one then the other, and then you'll be able to blend your colors a lot better. Don't worry about over mixing that, and the coverage issue will be solved by putting a base coat that is a real muted tone that is similar in brightness. Here's another one. It says, you should have an HBO special. Nice. Thank you for that. Artist for Freedom made that comment. Let's see. Comment on how to paint a tree trunk. You have, I don't know how to say this word. Maybe some of you know how to say this word. M-A-G-E-N. You have Majin David, or Majin David on your wall. Well, I think they're talking about the Star of David on the color wheel there. You know, that's funny. Look, I'll show you. You know, on the video, seeing that color wheel, there's that star. That star is pointing to all my sets of opposite colors. So, there are 3 primaries, 3 secondaries in typical paint color theory. And so you do a triangle, then a triangle, and it does indeed make the Star of David. Who knew? Hey, I found you by Googling how to paint clouds. I'm much older and got my start in advertising for the local newspaper when someone spotted my window paintings for the local rodeo event. You are very talented. Thank you. Watched your telecast yesterday, so you are on my mind. And I'm sitting here watching the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl ads. And I know this sounds wild, but you should create an ad for some product, maybe titled, "In America, we can do anything," and pitch it to one of those agencies that represent these companies spending all this money to be the best at entertaining us. You are a good fit somewhere for that kind of ad. A good idea with talent is worth lots. Good luck. Thank you, Tammy. I don't think I'll be making a commercial anytime soon, but that is a very nice compliment. And I'll tell you, that goes to show you, leaving an impression on people, it really makes a difference. I mean, I'm very flattered that somebody somewhere else in the country is watching the Super Bowl and thinking about Mural Joe. I mean, that's awesome to me. And that is what you're striving for. To be a successful artist, you want to pop up in somebody's mind in some other, when they're talking to someone else, and that's how the word spreads. Find a way to get yourself to pop up. You know, it's not in the super nice business card or the advertising. I mean, those are good accessories, but the best thing are the people that you will connect with. And that's why I like so much interacting with all of my viewers and going through these comments, questions, because these are real people that if I was in your town, I'd come over and sit on your couch and shoot the breeze and have a good old time. You know, just knowing that real people are having conversations, I don't know, I get a big thrill out of that and posting up these videos. So hopefully there will be a lot more in the future, and I'll keep you posted. I think later today or in the next couple of days we're going to go over and test out that new facility, me and Scott, and so there might be a live video pop up by surprise. We're not going to advertise it though, because we're probably going to do a lot of bloopers on it as we poke through and find out what we're capable of on live TV. Keep the comments, questions coming. It's been a real joy for me to go through these and answer them. And I hope all of your home projects go well. And if there's anything I can do to help, I'm here.